101 wins in the regular season. Get to sit and wait until Monday to find out who the opponent is. Nice to get a couple of days off. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And the days off thing is a real thing, man. I was chatting with some of our players just yesterday and talking to them about the 5 days off, and they said it's just enormous, especially for the relievers, how big this rest time is for them. That'll really give them a good crack at it come the postseason.
So last weekend was kind of a thing, right? I mean, the Mets coming in, it's been neck and neck all season long. For basically the entire year, the Mets led the division right up until the end when they didn't. Walk us through just the drama and the energy that was in the ballpark last weekend.
Looking back on it all, I mean, the entire weekend was pretty legendary, to be quite honest. I don't want to be a victim of the moment and, just go too hard on the recent history. But looking back on it all, to me, it's the most important regular season series I've seen in a very long time. It felt like the postseason. I mean, when we went into that series, I was telling Joe on the air, I said, I feel like the season has ended and this is round one of the postseason. That's what it felt like. And you had really good pitching matchups. We threw our best three. They threw their best three. And I think going into it, I was pretty realistic. I mean, I'm usually pretty I'm always optimistic, but at the same time, I'm very realistic. And I was thinking if you can get 2 out of 3, then maybe you get lucky this week and they slip up versus the Nationals. The Braves sweep the Marlins, and maybe you find a way to win this thing. I didn't think that a sweep would happen, and I was talking with Joe about that, and he said, I don't think there's going to be a sweep either. Their pitching is too good. In order for that to happen, they're going to have to play the best ball we've ever seen at least through the course of the season. And when they come out and win game one, I felt like that was the one that swung the Braves, the momentum in the Braves' favor, beating their starter in game one, beating Jacob deGrom and doing what they were able to do and overcoming 11 strikeouts and the bullpen locking it down the way that they did. That gave you a shot for game two, where if you can have some success versus Max Scherzer, then you put some doubt in their minds for game three, and they do that. Braves hit more home runs. This is a team that has to hit home runs to win the game, and they were able to overcome deficits in both of those first 2 games. And then they hand the ball to Chris Bassett for game 3, and you're down in that ball game, and you come back the way that you did. I thought it was incredible. And seeing what that team was able to accomplish, I felt like it was the most significant regular season series win and sweep that I've seen in a very, very long time. And I think it's given people around here a lot of hope that this team could do what they did last season.
What was the line? If you come at the Kings,
you better not miss. And that I don't know. Sometimes things just pop in your head and come about the 8th inning. I've always liked that line, and it jumped into my head. And total transparency, I Googled it to make sure that I had the line right, and I thought if they get 3 more outs in the 9th inning, I'm going to drop that one. And they did, so I said it, and the fan base loved it. So I was glad that I had something ready that could fit the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if social media is any indication, people absolutely ate that one up. And, Ben, it's been a storybook for you, or at least outside looking in. I mean, you work as the pregame and postgame host, and then you're a little bit of a fill-in, and finally, and incredibly deservedly so, that chair becomes yours, and you get to call a World Series title a year ago, and now you get this postseason run again. Kind of following you on Instagram, it feels like you have completely embraced it and are so incredibly comfortable in this job. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. I mean, it's the job that I always wanted. It's the role that I always wanted. I have lots of friends in this industry, and we all have very different goals. And my goal was simply to be the lead guy for a major league team. I didn't really care which one. I mean, it worked out even better that it's the one that's 6 hours from home, and I can easily get back home and see family and friends, and they can come over here and see baseball games. But that's what I wanted, and I love the travel. I love the game at the major league level. I love the players. There's every single aspect of what we do I absolutely love. Spring training all the way through the postseason, and I just don't think that there's anything else that I could be near as content with as I am doing this. I truly feel like it's what I was born to do, and I knew that when I came to Atlanta, I would have an opportunity to call games. And some of the advice that my dad gave me before I left, he said, be so good that they can't ignore you. And I never forgot my dad saying that, and that's kind of been what has guided my ship in my career. And, when I came here, there wasn't a job available, and there still wasn't. I was just doing the best that I could with the opportunities that I got. And I just knew that every time that they gave me an opportunity to call play-by-play, to me it was a competition, not just with myself, but I wanted to be the best of every broadcaster calling a game that night. I wanted to be better than any other of the options that the team had. That was my goal, and that might sound kind of haughty, but that's what got me going, and that's really what motivated me. And I'm always looking to do better the next game and to be more and more creative and to really try to push myself when it comes to creativity and how I broadcast a game and not falling into the same slumps of saying the same thing over and over again. I want everything to be different. And I hope I never stop pushing myself like that. And to me, it was about getting that opportunity and taking it. And that's all I wanted to do was just take it and hold on to it and do this as long as I could. And so far, that's been how it's played out here.
Ben, there are people that say that baseball's got a problem, that people kind of tune out for the regular season other than just for their team, but then they kind of lock in for the postseason. And maybe that's a problem, or maybe that's just reality. I don't know, and we don't have to debate that one way or the other. All I know is this. When I look at, and just National League specific, the Cardinals, the Phillies, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Braves, I feel like we're setting up for a really, really entertaining October, and all of those teams could make a run.
Yeah, they absolutely could. I look at the entire National League playoff picture, and you could say this probably every year, that every team is dangerous for one reason or another, but I think this year specifically you could really point out key points for all the teams that are in the playoff picture of how they could be successful and what would make them dangerous. You could start with the Phillies and the aces that they have. You could go to the Cardinals and talk about the motivation that they're going to have for three legends who are making their last run together. I think you could go to the Padres and say that's a team that's been overshadowed by the Dodgers, and they're looking to make a run, and they got some good pitching of their own. The Mets are a 100-win team. The Dodgers win 110 games, best season they've ever had in the regular season, and the Braves are the defending champions. And that's just kind of skimming the surface for all the teams in the playoff picture of the National League. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. And it would be easy for every team to look at their draw and say, man, this draw is tough. But it's tough for everybody. I mean, it's never easy to beat the Cardinals in the postseason, if that's who the Braves get. And the Dodgers are going to get either a red-hot Mets team or a Padres team that just won't go away. So I think it's really fantastic, this field that we have. And that's just one side of it. That's not even touched the American League. So some really, really good teams. And I think all of these teams not only expect to get to the World Series, but they expect to win it as well.
Ben, are the Braves the favorites in the National League, or is it the Dodgers via those 110 wins? And if the Braves are not the favorite, should they be?
That's a great question. I think if you were to ask everybody on a national level who covers Major League Baseball, they'd probably lean towards the Dodgers. However, there's a sentiment going around with other people who work in the game, other broadcasters, people that I've spoken with, and I think this is an interesting point, in how the Dodgers haven't played a meaningful game in a while. I don't want to take away from the fact that they won 110 games.
Hey, we got 30 seconds left, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. I just think that the Braves are a team that definitely has the ability to get back there, and I think those are the two teams that expect to be there.
It certainly produced an incredible series a year ago in the NLCS, and would love to see that again. You are always kind with your